Hello people, I'm Dave Goodwin with Original Privateer. We hope you're doing good. I hope everybody's having a great day and your week's going good. I'm back with another video series. We're going to start a new series on contrast. Contrast is something that we have to identify in life. Contrast is, for example, maybe for you ladies out there, you pay attention to what you wear. You try to find things that are contrasting. This morning I went and seen my daughter and she said, "Dad, you really picked out a nice shirt with them pants. It really contrasts well." Well, contrast is like black and white, right? Pain or pleasure, joy or depression. You know, those are contrasting. And the reason contrast is so important to us is we have to identify that, because we actually learn from contrast. If we didn't have contrast in our life, how would we identify the good things in our life? How would we identify the joy in our life? How would we build from the painful experiences in our life if they were always great? So, you know, I try to, when I do these videos, I try to talk about things that are real and raw, things I've dealt with in my own life or things I've learned from friends, whether it's been friends that have done time in prison to friends that have struggled with addictions to just all the different situations, my own failures in life, divorce, children, you know, maybe learning from others. But again, I always say challenge everything you learn, right? I believe that we should do that. We should challenge everything we learn and build upon it. I hope that you take these videos or maybe something I said and build upon it, because by no means am I an expert with everything. By no means am I without fault, or I struggle with these things too, right? I mean, I don't know somebody who doesn't. You know, happiness, to achieve happiness all the time, I just don't know that person. You know, happiness most of the time, yeah, I think that's what we should strive for. But our life is not going to be without pain at all. I mean, Scripture says that. We're going to have tribulations and trials in our life, but how do we respond to it? So that's what we're going to talk about today, and appreciate you guys being with us. Man, I appreciate all you followers. You guys are great. Appreciate your comments and shares. So thank you very much. So let's get into it. Man, you know, I'm all about rocking your cool out there authentically. I don't want to speak from a sense of you know, putting on a mask and not being authentic. I hope something in this gives you the ability to build on it and use your mind differently, your God-given mind. You're intelligent. You have intelligence. And if there's some application there mixed with some faith, man, your life can change. You have the power to change it. And I just love seeing people happy. I love seeing marriages succeed. I love seeing passion. I love seeing passion when I go see a motocross race and I see some rider that's passionate about it. I just love seeing a couple, relationships that's passionate about each other. You know, I love that. And I like the elements of why that person's passionate, you know, whatever it is. It could be golfing, it could be racing motorcycles, racing cars, could be in the job that you're in. It could be with the relationships that you have. It could be in a lot of things, but to not have passion in something is sad to me. I'm not saying you gotta have passion in everything, but man, to not have any at all, that's a heartbreaker for me to even think about. I'm passionate about what I do right here. I love you guys on the other end of that camera. I love you. So I hope you know that I'm trying to be encouraging and I'm trying to inspire some new growth so that we can break those connections that stifle us, that hurt us, that keep us contained in our box. we have to be able to take some risk out there. I'm not talking about foolish risks that'll hurt you, that are bad for you, but I'm talking about taking a risk out there, hanging it out, getting outside of your box and taking some chances. We're going to be a little afraid to do that. That's okay. But that's what courage is for. Courage is all about pushing through that. We all get afraid with different things, but we can't let fear and doubt keep us from trying. I would be more worried about not trying than the fear of trying, Go out there and live. Go out there and send it. So we're going to talk about contrast, getting back to contrast. What is contrast? Contrast, let's talk about it, okay? So in our lives, we have pain and we have joy, or we have pain and we have pleasure, right? Pain and pleasure is something that's been tossed around for a long time. It's very big with psychology, and it's a contrasting thing. You got pain, you got pleasure. But let's talk about how those two contrasting things actually will control our life if we let it. And that's the whole moral of this, not letting pain or pleasure control our life. Let's be in control of that, right? Now, I'm not saying we can control the pain that comes into our life. I'm not saying that. We can only control how we respond to it or what we think about. So it all comes down to what we focus on, what we believe. That's where everything comes down to, is your focus. If you take photographs out there and you're using an SLR and you're into astronomy and you're adjusting your focus, that's how our life is. We have to focus, but we have to focus on the right stuff, not on shit that hurts us, not on shit that gives us more pain. We can't do that. Although there is events in our life that give us crazy pain, pain that's unimaginable when it comes to loss, children, those kind of things. Man. That's a whole other level there. That's the worst of the worst. But I'm talking about pain that we can control through our thinking, how we let pain dominate our life, or even pleasure. Pleasure can dominate our life and be just as bad as pain. But we can also turn the whole thing around and make pain actually be a motivator for us. We can actually make pleasure be a motivator for us in the right direction, okay? So that's what we're going to talk about. Stay with us. We're going to do a series on this. Give me your comments. Give me your feedback. We'll elaborate on it. I want you to have fun out there, okay? Do it. Stay with us. Build upon these videos, okay? Challenge them. Challenge it against your own belief. Do some checks and balances on what you believe. What is your belief? What is your ideology? What are your pains in life? What pains are you still dragging around with you? Okay? Give that some thought. So let's talk about the motocross rider. Let's talk about the motocross rider that lines up at the gate, but has the pain that comes rushing in of, I'm not gonna launch it off the gate and get down there and try to grab that hole shot. Why? Because there's 40 other riders down there I'm gonna be mixing it up with. I'm gonna take the path of holding back and hope everybody kind of gets bunched up and sweep around the outside. Okay? Do you think that's what the top riders do? Hold back like that? You're associating the pain with getting in the mix of that and bumping bars and swapping paint and causing a pile up or being in one or whatever the case is. Why not take the pain of, if I don't do that, then how am I gonna be up the front when we come out of that first corner? Think about, why not focus on the pleasure of, instead of focusing on the pain of all these what ifs, why not change your perception to, what if I do this and I come out in better shape? Why not focus on that? Why not focus on, say, in a relationship? Okay, what if we're focusing on the pain there? What do we want to do? We want to avoid pain, right? Whether you're on the gate, on the starting gate, or going into the first corner in a stock car, or on a bike. Why not turn that pain avoidance into a pain motivator, right? If we're in a relationship and you're talking about two different people with different ideologies, two different people with different experiences, different upbringings, different things in their life, different ways of thinking. But what if we're constantly avoiding pain and we're in a relationship where there's difficulty? What are we going to do? If we don't turn that pain into motivation, if we don't hit that pain head on and push through it. Some of the best relationships that are in the world are those relationships that push through hard times and they experience pleasure on the other end. Why not focus on the pleasure of hitting the pain head on? But if we're constantly in pain avoidance, then we're always looking for the path of least resistance, right? Okay, this is difficult, so I'm going to go here because I'm going to gain pleasure. And then that wears off and the pain comes back. So we're always avoiding that pain. Why not learn to push through that pain and let that pain be a motivator? For the motocross racer out there, why not let the pain and worry of hitting that double or triple, why instead of avoiding it and saying, I'm going to do it the next race, I'm going to do it next week, and I'm going to do it next week, and next thing you know, the season's over, the summer's over. Why not go out and practice? I'm not talking about going out and doing it without preparing for it. That's a foolish risk, but I'm talking about a calculated risk. You're not going to do it if you don't take a chance or take a risk, okay? But as long as you're avoiding the pain of doing it, think about it. Your perception of the pain is what could happen if you do it and come up short, or you case it, or you piled up, right? That's a future perception that the brain makes. Think about that. Think about that for a second. That's a future perception. What if that future perception controls you in life, whether it's racing, whether it's your relationships, whether it's starting a new business and going for it, or pushing through a difficult time? What if your perception of the future is preventing you from gaining that pleasure from doing it? You'll never know. Some of us go through our whole life avoiding pain, right? Think about that. But what if you go out there and practice doing that double or that triple and taking that chance, and do you remember the first time you did a big triple, how good it felt? Do you remember the first time you crawled into a stock car and threw it sideways, going through the first corner? Do you remember how good that felt? What if you never took that chance? What if you never took that chance to push through that difficult time? What if you never did it? You would never experience pleasure. But I also want to say, if we never had pain in our life, how would we even know what pleasure was? If everything was pleasurable all the time, how would we know what pain was? We can learn from pain. Pain can be a great teacher. I look at my own life. I've been at different points in my life where I couldn't even breathe. I couldn't eat. I couldn't listen to the radio. I couldn't even hardly function. I was in such a dark place in my mind, my thoughts, my worries, my fears, my anxiety, what was going on in my life at the time. But what if I didn't push through that? Okay, what if I didn't learn from that? Now when I think about those very things that stifled me and just brought dread to me and fear, now I actually find pleasure in it because I pushed through it and became a new person because of my pain. So for that racer out there, or that person in that relationship, or that person that's wanting to start their own business, or that person that's wanting to take that trip, or that person that's wanting to learn to ride a dirt bike, or get a motorcycle, or do something different, turn your pain into a motivator and focus on the pleasure that can occur if you do push through head on. So thanks for joining us. We're going to continue. This is going to be a multi-part series. We appreciate the comments, the feedback, and man, give yourself some credit a little bit here. Believe in yourself. Focus on the right stuff. Focus on truth. Misery likes company, okay? Define who you are. Believe in you. Rock your own cool. it's not about the destination, it's about the journey, and enjoy the journey. Enjoy every aspect of it, even the pain of it. Use that pain as a motivator. We'll be back. Stay tuned with us. Comment, share. We love you guys. Thanks a lot.